Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the PACE podcast, Setting the Pace. I'm 𝗜𝗍𝗶𝘁𝗃, and I will be your host and moderator for today's conversation. This podcast is created by the Pacific Autism Center for Education, or PACE, where our mission is to enhance the lives of people impacted by autism through innovation, exceptional education, and compassionate care. In each episode, we share real stories, practical tools, and voices from our community so families, educators, and caregivers feel a little more informed, a little more supported, and a little less alone. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Karyn Caradona. Karyn is the Director of Human Resources at PACE, bringing over 20 years of experience across both high tech and nonprofit sectors. Her work spans everything from recruitment and onboarding to employee relations and organizational change. She is also a certified compensation professional with deep expertise in how organizations support and value their people. Outside of HR, Karyn is an avid sports fan, cheering on the Giants, Warriors, and Denver Broncos with a special passion for women's sports. Today, we are about to explore the story behind the systems, how HR decisions, often made quietly in the background, ripple outward to shape the everyday experiences of both staff and students. Karen, I would love to start with your journey. You've worked across very different sectors, high tech and nonprofit. Can you let us know what drew you into this field initially and what ultimately led you to PACE?
Sure, I'm happy to. After college, I explored a few different fields, including teaching, but I found my passion was in HR. I started as a compensation analyst in a large semiconductor company. Then I progressed to HR manager. I later worked as an HR director in a medical device company and started to feel that I wanted to combine my work with a stronger mission. So I began that journey at the Parkinson's Institute and then later at PACE. PACE was very appealing because their vision and how it aligned with my goals.
That journey really highlights how intentionally you have aligned your career with purpose and impact. When you first stepped into PACE, what stood out to you about the people and the work here? Was there a moment where it really clicked for you that HR in this space is fundamentally different from other industries?
That's a great question. The nonprofit environment is very different from for profit. The team is all working towards a unified purpose, and the focus is not on just making money for shareholders. Empathy and compassion are absolutely essential for everyone at PACE, especially in human resources. Recognition and regular feedback definitely take on a stronger focus.
That's such a powerful distinction, and it really shows how values like empathy shape the culture at PACE. Karen, so recruitment is often described in terms of resumes and qualifications, but in a setting like PACE, it feels much more personal. Can you tell us about a time when you met a candidate and just knew they were the right fit?
So for PACE candidates, again, the focus has to be on compassion and competence for the students and the clients that we serve. That's the foundation for everyone, and that's pretty much what we're looking for when we speak to candidates. The candidates speaking about the students or our mission when they're in interviews are usually the best fit for PACE.
It's interesting how clearly mission driven mindset shows up even in the interview process. Karen, you've spent a lot of time thinking about compensation and how organizations value their employees. How do you approach those decisions in a way that feels fair, meaningful, and aligned with the emotional demands of this work?
So PACE is a bit different in that this type of work sometimes leads to job burnout or physical and mental exhaustion. So We place a lot of focus, meaning HR, on supporting our staff's mental health. And so, as a matter of fact, we are about to hold a wellness event for our school staff this month. We have a very robust employee assistance plan for all staff that we offer in addition to our health benefits. So these resources are just as important as financial compensation.
That perspective truly broadens how we think about compensation beyond just salary. Retention is something I understand that many organizations struggle with, especially in education and caregiving. From your perspective and all the experience that you bring in, what are some of the quieter, less obvious reasons people choose to stay or choose to leave?
So I believe people stay at organizations when they can build their skills and progress. The executive director at 𝗍𝗃𝗍𝗍 has established a growth path for employees wanting to continue to grow in their career. So for the school program, he has established an educational stipend program for the employees who seek to become teachers. We also offer continuous training for employees so they can learn and grow their skills.
That's truly encouraging to see how growth and opportunity play such a central role in retention. I'm curious about the moments that don't always get talked about, times when staffing is stretched or when change is happening quickly. Could you share some light on an example of a challenging period and how HR helped navigate that while keeping the focus on both staff well being as well as student needs?
I can't think of a more challenging time at PACE than 2020 and the pandemic. The PACE residential homes remained open, of course, and even the PACE school was operating remotely only for a short period of time before returning to in-person classes. HR became the agency's quote nurse unquote, but it was the staff's commitment to our clients and students that pulled us through. And that was a really stressful time for everyone.
That really speaks about the resilience and dedication of the entire PACE community during such a difficult time. Karen, a lot of your work involves planning for the future, sometimes before others even realize that there's a need to solve this problem. How do you think about building systems that don't just solve today's problems but anticipate what students and staff will need months or maybe even years down the line?
Well, I work closely with the management team to understand their strategic growth plans and how HR can support them. I know helping more individuals is a key focus for PACE. In HR, I'm always considering staffing, leadership development, and technology needs that may help strategic goals while not losing sight of what will serve our employees right now.
It's really thoughtful to see how you're balancing immediate needs with long term planning and growth. Looking ahead, what gives you hope? When you think about the future of special education and the workforce that supports it, where do you see the most opportunity for growth or change?
HR technology is already changing with AI opportunities. We will continue to see that transform the HR field. AI may also assist with autism research. However, humans are the driving force behind everything we do. HR must continue to look to tools and resources that support our staff to do their best work.
That balance between innovation and human element is such an important reminder. And finally, on a more personal note, after so many years in HR, what continues to keep you motivated in this work?
I would say at this point in my career, I'm deeply touched by what the PACE employees do every day. They celebrate all student and client wins, no matter how big or small. We have a monthly staff meeting at the school campuses. It's truly wonderful to see the caring and compassionate way that the employees recognize the students and staff. They are truly inspiring.
That's a beautiful reflection and a meaningful note to end on. Thank you, Karen, for sharing not just your expertise, but also your perspective and experiences. It really highlights how much thought and care goes into building the kind of environment where both staff and students can thrive. For all our listeners, if you would like to learn more about PACE, you can visit us at pacificautism.org or follow us on our social media for updates on new episodes as well as resources. Thank you so much for listening to Setting the Pace. We are glad you're here and we hope you will join us for the rest of this journey. Signing out.